something which we would sentimental is not correct in this context.
Sentimental is not of real value.
What is sentimental?
Sentimental is something that is valuable to you because you got it as a gift. It's a universal value, not sentimental.
Okay, recording.
Yeah, okay. We're really discussing the Rebbe says, okay, just to have a location, this is on page Beis, and it's the second Ois Chav Zayin, Ois Chof rather, and four lines from the beginning of the Ois. The line begins with being kuli. We spent already a couple of days on this. The Rebbe says that in Torah, that Torah is principally, an aspect of what's called Odom. And what is Odom? Odom is union from Pnimius. What does that mean, Pnimius? We discussed it briefly. It says, it's a really a very broad and deep subject. But in brief, the principle of Pnimius, as is presented in terms of Odom, is pardon me. Odom has distinct times. For example, when he eats, when he sleeps, when he learns, when he speaks, and everything that he does has a certain distinct aspect, definition, and different koyach. He has koyach ha-chochma, and that's distinct from bina. And bina is distinct from das. And when chochma is in full glory, bina is staying off to a side. When the time from bina to function, chochma is hovering above and not interfering with it. Pnimi is that everything is done with a focus. To the extent, just want to kind of bring it home all the way, it makes a difference to a person if he sits in this seat, in that seat, or in that seat. He senses differently. because everything it does, he actually, so to speak, relates to it. As we said many times, you're sitting around the table, right? It's comfortable. If this table was standing in the street or in the park, it would not have at all the same impact as when sitting in a dining room. You're sitting. What's the difference? Torah, in general, is called Odom.
Wait, sorry. Pnimi and Adam are here used interchangeably.
Yeah.
Okay.
Odom is Pnimi.
And the statement right now, Torah is Adam also?
Torah Torah is in the category of Odom, which means Torah is Pnimi in contrast to mitzvoths, which are rotzen, which is makif. I'm repeating what we already learned. And then he says that in Torah itself, there are three madregis, so to speak. And they are referred to as Midbar, Yishuv, and Soda. Desert, inhabited, and the field. Start talking about Midbar. What is the meaning for Midbar? He didn't finish yet, so we didn't conclude the connection, but he started saying, Midbar, Yesh Leimar, it can be said that this is the Inyan, the sphirot hagnuzos of Torah. So we focused on the word genuzos. The reason we focus on the word genuzos, because genuzos, generally speaking, mean hidden, but it means something completely different than hidden. Hidden means covered up. This is genuzos means they don't belong on the open. In the open, you miss the whole richness of it. And they have all kinds of different allusions. I mean, Mishalim for this. And they pointed out on one thing, that in the treasure house of a king, there's a certain chamber in the treasure house where most precious and rare stones, maybe one in the whole world, are kept. And these treasures are invaluable. In other words, they cannot be measured in terms of active value.
This is like saying they're beyond market value. There's no market for them. They're excluded from commerce, right?
I'd like really to understand what it means. It is not that there is not enough money to pay for it. But that it is not valued. It cannot be valued in terms of currency. in the human being himself, which you're talking about Lamaila, it's a sphirot agnosis. In the human being himself, there is also the koiches, all these koiches, on a high primary level, which defines him as a human being. What does that mean? Especially nowadays, where we have developed robotics to a great degree of functionality. The internal understanding and sense that a human being has to any human activity, that cannot be transferred. That cannot be replicated. Because this is not on a functional level. This is something which is rooted in his nefesh, in his neshama. His neshama is rooted in godliness itself. And this never comes out. But it's totally invaluable. This is what makes him into a human being. This is where his life quality surfaces. What is the primary element in a human being? Is it his activity, his ability to do things, or his ability to relate to things that he is doing? You understand what I'm saying? It's a very simple way of putting it. I mean, the depth behind it. A human being is called a medaber, a speaker. What is this medaber referred to? Speaker of the house? And it's called the Speaker of the House. We have a very good example, if you understand what kind of title is it, Speaker of the House. Every member of the House knows he can speak, has the ability to speak. What kind of title is it, Speaker of the House?
I don't even know what it simply means.
Huh?
I don't even know what it means simply.
Can anybody explain what that is? Who knows the American system of government? A little bit. Come on, principle.
Speaker of the House guides discussion in Congress.
Uh-huh. He has the gravel and it bangs. Being in session.
It's like where to start, like what to talk about, like that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, governs the order and
Present the topics and things.
keeps people on track, controls who speaks when.
Okay. Thank you.
He sets the agenda and of what's going to be discussed in the house. And make sure that everything is done. Everyone has his place and his ability to express his ideas. He runs the house. Okay? Now, on what basis does he run the house? Because he has a mouth?
Because you have a sense what's going on.
Speaking of the house, the best that I know, is third in rank in the government. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The president, the vice president, and the speaker. All right. So this, in that the person is called a speaker, madaber. What does it refer to? It refers to his insight and his ability to guide his practical life on a high human level, so that his actions are not just robotic actions, but they're real, expressing the life force of his neshama. Okay, so coming back, there's as a sphirot genuvot, and the word genuvot means treasured. The reason they're treasured is that they have no means of being evaluated on the outside. Again, I said it's not that there's not enough money to go around to pay for them. They're not measured in those terms at all. And yet, we say that they're as sphirot, 10 sphirot, Chochmah, Bina, Das, and so forth. In our terms, in human terms, it means this, to the extent that we can identify it. There is Chochmah in the human being, and there is an inner sense what Chochmah is. There is Bina, then there is an inner sense what Bina is. And then so forth. This inner sense what Chochmah is, or Bina, on all the koiches, this is Gonus, this is in the treasure house. This never surfaces on the outside. This is what's employed when a person is just observing and contemplating what reality is. Clearly, there's much much. If you want to really discuss it, that's not the point over here. The point is that there is an element in sphirot that are genuvot that are in the treasure house way beyond their functionality. In Torah, in other words, in Torah there is this thing of sphirot. In Torah there is the open Torah, the mitzvoth, and everything that Torah describes and teaches us. Then there is an inner reality that doesn't even come out in normal discussions, and it is treasured to the point where it's hardly allowed to surface, because it cannot be properly dealt with on the surface. And yet it is absolutely part of Torah. This is what we call the neshama of Torah. That's what we described in a human being. Okay, now let's see inside.
Which line, Rabbi?
Okay, this is the fourth line from the Ois Chof. Okay, the line begins with kuli. Actually, we'll start from that line, right? Inyan bechinas ha-mitzvoth sheb'Torah. The inyan of the bechina of what's called mitzvoth on Torah. Yesh loymar. That can be defined as shezehu ha-Torah k'mei shehu b'bechinas es sphirot haknuzos. And this is the Torah as the Torah is in the es sphirot haknuzos, b'bechinas es sphirot haknuzos. Dim heyoisom es sphirot, where although, despite the fact that there are sphirot, which means there are 10 spheres, because Torah is in for Pnimi. Pnimi means that there are different qualities that express different aspects. Like we said, Chochmah, Bina, and Das. But this is the genuvot level of it. So even though there's spheres, Mekomokim, yet still, Harei Heim Loi B'Bechinas Mitzius. They are not B'Bechinas, they are not in the category of Mitzius, of being a presence. V'Loi B'Bechinas is Chalkus. Nor are they in a manner, in a level, in a presence that can be subdivided between one thing and another. Let's learn a few more lines, and then we'll. V'hainu, which means ma shebebchinas odom. This means that even though Torah we say odom, and then there is that which is like bebchinas is chalkos. Odom, we said before, is pnimi. Pnimi means that every aspect is identified individually, and here we say that there are 10 spheres, but they're not identified individually. Bebchinas is chalkos. Hainu, which means ma shebebchinas odom yesh gam kin bechinas ki lo yodom hu. That in the aspect of odom is included also deep down an aspect that is lo yodom. Lo yodom hu. It's above the infinite odom. V'yesh loimer, to give it a reference point. What can be said about that? Shezehu bechinas soidas v'rozin de'iraisa. Now this is the union of soidas v'rozin, the secrets and rozin, and the hidden aspect of Torah, iraisa. Shehei lemaylo mehasogo, which are above comprehension. Behoyikar, a few more words. Behoyikar, principally, bechin as rozo de rozin, shebetoira. Raza means the secret, hidden in a very deep way. Razi means the secrets that are secret even from secrets. Razi shebetoira. Which is concealed and abstract completely, altogether. As described elsewhere. Okay. So this is a primary element in Torah, in Hasaga, in sphirot. But it is primary to the extent that it cannot even be identified externally. Like I said before, that in a human being, this is truly very, very important principle. We always say, this is a simple principle, that there are 10 spheres, 10 koiches, starting from Chochma, Bina, and Das. And then there is Midas, Chesed, Gvurah, Tiferes. Bina, we seem to be able to relate directly. Bina means that we decipher things and break them out into little components, and we see that how these components interrelate. Chochma is the source of Bina. And yet Chochma cannot be deciphered in the same way. Like we said many times before, come back what you discussed this morning, you just want to, they set up a table, and they set chairs around the table. The chairs are set up in a certain logical fashion to utilize the space around the table in the most efficient, proper manner. That will also make it comfortable to sit around the table. This is as it is set up and as it appears. But then there's a completely different aspect. Okay, I'd like you to be with me. When you observe a table set up in this manner, you say, yes, it's convenient, it's comfortable. There's something beyond that. It's the right way. This is the way it should be. What does this right way element mean? It means that you can relate to it not only from a practical and utilization perspective, but it fits well with your mind. There's a human element to this. It sits well. You can absorb this in one glance. It says, It's set up right. This set up right, this is a human insight and an expression of the life element in the human being. This is the chokhmah. So the chokhmah perceives the entire setup at a glance, but this thing that the perception at a glance is not that it is makif. It does not really appreciate it, like it's above the whole thing. No, it appreciates every detail of it. That's why it's part of seichel. And that's why chokhmah is actually the precursor for the source for bina. This inyan that in chokhmah there is that perception that this is right, not that this is practical, but this is right. Where does that come from? What makes it right? Do I have you with me? What makes it right? This is also a seichel element, but this is how seichel is emanating, is drawn from the perfection of the neshama. On the practical level, you can make it work in all kinds of different ways. But that the human being, this neshama, should feel comfortable, should feel that it's right, and it fits in, that is a completely different level. Like we said just a moment ago, a table in a room, in a proper setting, makes sense and it's right. The same setup exactly in the middle of a field does not carry the same message at all. If you recall, one time we spoke about sleep. The person sleeps, he has to get, complete rest. Complete rest does not mean resting his feet or his body. Rest is really kind of an emotional and even a minding it. He is coming back to himself. And this thing, coming back to himself, this rest element, we pointed out that's a completely different experience whether he sleeps in his own house, in his own room, or he is elsewhere. Even though physically it's the same thing. Not only it's the same thing, he could be on a more comfortable bed in a hotel than in his own home. And yet he has a completely different rest at home than in a hotel. A hotel is a superficial rest. In a home, it's a thorough rest. This is what we refer to as gonus. This quality is concealed internally, deep down. And even though there are all the different koiches at those levels, but they're not distinguishable. Okay. I want to conclude something that we discussed today, this morning, and the other day. He said that a person earns a livelihood. And whatever it is, he's got a job, and he earns a certain dollar amount. So the actual dollar amount that comes into his pocket is very much measurable. You know, you can say this is this number of dollars, and this number of dollars you can buy these products, these items. We said we went a step further. If you remember, we said, the people's earnings capabilities are measured in terms of lifetime earnings. So, from an external bank's perspective, it's all measured in terms of dollars and cents. But what does the earning mean to the person? When a person goes out and he has a job, whatever the job is what sustains him. Whatever it gives him a place, it enables him to live a normal life. This is not measurable in terms of dollars and cents. This is what makes it possible for him to live a normal life. It is everything. This is gonus. This is something which he appreciates a much deeper level than what can be interpreted in terms of dollars and cents. Do we follow this? So this goes into a different category. You said many times, if a person has a certain amount of money, it's money. If there's a job, that's not money. A job is what's called a replenishable resource. And that is no way to evaluate it.
This is part of Hashem's world.
Gives a person a sense of peace of mind and able to live a normal life. Normal life means how Hashem meant for him to live as a human being. Okay. So, in Torah there is Adam, and there is also Madregi, which is Kilo Yodam. Like he said in human terms, there is that which is measurable. With $100 you can buy this and you can pay for this and so forth. But then there is that it provides something which is beyond measure. That is in the category of lo yodam. Okay, and the Rebbe says that in Torah, this is what's known as Teilus and Rosh Deiraisa. The secrets in Torah, which are completely concealed, and there's, in that itself there are many different levels, and ultimately there is Rosi de Rosi. You know that Pnimi Chassidus and so forth was not revealed until much more recently. The first time is in the Zohar, and then there was the Arizal and so forth, and then the Baal Shem. But this was not revealed throughout the ages, because this is Rosh the Torah. Memela, okay, do we have it? Do we have it? Or Memela, the line begins with Memela. In this level, in this aspect of Rosh in the Torah, Ayin Bozeh Tainuk. There is not the element of Tainuk. What's mean Tainuk? He cannot experience it. The Izgalus Atik Hubibina, because Atik this is the Tainuk. Tainuk expresses itself in Bina, which is Bahasogo, in comprehension. Beharozin, the Eraisa, and the Rozin, the secrets of Torah. Shezeho Lamaylo Megeder Hasogo, which are beyond the principle of Hasogo, the boundary of Hasogo of comprehension. Ein Bozeh Tainuk. There is not Tainuk, because there is not full-fledged comprehension.